This is John Jackson Miller, and you're listening to the Star Wars Canon Podcast. May the Force be with you.
There are stories about what happened.
It's true. All of it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of the Star Wars Canon Podcast, and thank you for tuning in to talk about our favorite thing in the world, yet again, Star Wars. My name's Brian Miller. I'm your host on this particular show, and with me from all the way across the pond, you know him and love him, straight from Cairo, Egypt, Mr. Usef Waly. How's it going, Usef?
It's good. Thank you for the lovely intro, my friend. It's really good. I'm just coming off of some illness as well. But yeah, it's good to be talking about our favorite thing in the world, Star Wars. Fuck yes.
Hell yeah. No, it's good to be back, man. We took a hell of a hiatus. We were just talking before we started recording. The last episode was in March. I thought it was in May, but it was in March.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're good. We're all happy to be back.
It's good to be back.
Every single one of us is happy to be back.
Oh yeah, it's damn good to be back because like we were talking about, this is a stress reliever. You know, and this is helping me cope with a lot going on in life right now. So it's good to be back, and we're pumping out content. We've actually got a lot of I shouldn't say a lot yet, but we're working on getting a lot of content out on Patreon. We've got full reaction videos up for Boba Fett so far. Chapters 1 and 2 are on the Patreon page right now. The links for those will be in the description of this podcast. And don't forget, guys, we've also got a new podcast in our little network group here, the Marvelcast. Yeah, Stephen Hall and JG Karst are doing a great job bringing Marvel news to you guys every week and coming up with some good topics to talk about and kind of giving their reviews of movies that are coming out and series that are coming out, predictions for new episodes of shows coming out and films. So they're doing a hell of a job over there. You guys, if you guys are Marvel fans, definitely go check that out. You guys won't be disappointed. So they're kicking ass and taking names over there, and not slowing down long enough to take the names. So, but for this show, we're Lucas Hounds over here. We are Star Wars fans over here. Well, don't get me wrong, we're all Star Wars fans, but here we focus on the Star Wars, and there's a lot to talk about. A lot has come out since March during our hiatus that we're going to end up having to talk about and kind of give our thoughts on. But I figured we would slowly spread all that news out over the future and kind of talk about things that are being announced and shows that are coming out. But this week in particular, we got a hell of a news drop just the other day, actually, that EA is working on 3 new Star Wars games. And that they're going to be adding to the canon. So I figured this episode we would sit down and kind of talk about all the Star Wars games that we know are in development this year, and kind of if we know when they're coming out, and kind of give our thoughts on each one, and kind of go through, because Usef, you're a big Star Wars fan, or you're a big video game player. You're a big gamer.
I'm a huge game fan. Yeah. So I genuinely like my opinion on this, and I think many of our subscribers may relate to this. The best way, in my opinion, to really immerse myself into anything, I mean, we all, most of us, I mean, at least depends on how old you are, but we all work jobs, and movies and shows, of course, so, you know, they give us our fix. But the real way to immerse myself in something is a game. If I launch myself into something and I'm playing as a character and I customize and I've got the music and I've got the world building and I've got everything, that's the best thing about it. I don't care what it is, if it's a strategy game, if it's an RPG, if it's a shooter, if it's... I've played it all. So, yeah, it's just the best thing about it. So to see Star Wars games that are actually now, you know, it's been a long time since we've had a real good Star Wars game, and Jedi Fallen Order was just the first intro to what we could get.
Just a taste.
And then we got Squadrons. Just a taste, exactly, right? And then we got Squadrons. And then, I can't wait. So I'm just gonna, let me take this step by step. Let's dive into them, because otherwise I'm just gonna go off.
No, you're
about so
you're
much
good.
Stuff and what I'm hoping for.
No, what's cool about the video game genre though is it's a story, because I love storytelling. I just love stories in general, and video games are stories that you can insert yourself into. and kind of see it through the eyes of the protagonist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed guy. I'm still playing Valhalla. Matter of fact, last week I just got Mjolnir and Excalibur 2 nights in a row, and so now I'm walking around wielding Mjolnir and Excalibur, and I look badass. So, but just that's an experience you obviously can't have in real life, but you can sit there and she's like, God, this is so cool, you know, and so video games bring a different kind of view
the sense
for
of
stories.
Achievement you get as well, right? Like you build up yourself and you go through the
that
world.
satisfaction.
So that's also like the satisfaction comes from amazing world building, and that in itself shows what a good game is.
Oh
right?
yeah,
if you're actually enjoying the world building,
yeah. So I figured we would go through these and I think we've got 7 of them right now that we know about, which is crazy to think that we've got 7 Star Wars video games in development. We're only a couple months away from one of them being released. But I figured we'd go through these one at a time, just the ones that we know about, and kind of give our thoughts on these. So let's get going on this without further ado. The first one I want to talk about is coming out April 5th, 2022. It's just a couple months away. I'm really looking forward to this one. It is Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. This is a game that's been in development for a long time. It was actually slated to release in December of 2020. I guess there was some... what's the word? Contention, I guess, amongst the crew that kind of made this take a little longer, and some things happening behind the scenes. And, you know, with COVID and everything like that, it really did delay this game quite a bit. But it looks like they've taken the extra time to really flesh this game out, add so much to it, make it a true Star Wars experience, even though it's in Lego. I mean, you can explore the galaxy. You can go to more planets in Lego Star Wars.
Still explore. That's the awesome bit. Like, you can actually explore stuff.
You can actually, from what they showed us in that gameplay trailer the other day, you can actually go to more planets in this game than you could in Jedi Fallen Order. You can basically go to every single planet in the Skywalker Saga. And, you know, if the Lego The Force Awakens, which I 100%ed in like 2 weeks, if that is any kind of definition or reference as to how packed this game is going to be, because that was one film. Now we've got 9 films, all these extra planets. It's going to be insane, man. You going to pick this one up?
Oh, definitely. Because I'll be completely honest. I was not initially a huge fan of Lego games. It was just like, it's something for fun, right? It's something to multiplayer with, like, fun at home and all that. But because it is this one, and they've got huge amounts of character packs that are going to be available as well. That's what's going to make it super fun. No matter what happens, I'm going to have a character that I can enjoy playing with, and it's just going to what's it called? Like, I'm going to get my fix no matter what character it is that I want to play with. So it's going to be fun as hell.
Right. Now you were mentioning the character numbers: 300 playable characters, plus 7 character packs. Yeah. And who was it? What were the character packs? Hang on a second. Let me look this up. Yes, this is just the Skywalker films, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to find out that they're going to end up adding Rogue One and Solo to it as well.
I think they added Rogue One and Solo, and perhaps Mando as well.
Collection bundle. You get the Mandalorian Pack 1, Mandalorian Pack 2, Rogue One, A Star Wars Story, classic characters. So when they say classic characters, they're going back to like the yellow skin characters from the old classic Lego games. They're going back to those original Lego figures of those characters. Solo, A Star Wars Story, Star Wars The Bad Batch, and a Trooper Pack. It says get day one access to this pack by pre-ordering the game. Yeah. So that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is 7. So yeah, Bad Batch will be cool. There's a lot you could do with the Bad Batch in it. But I'm wondering if you're gonna have missions for each of these. You know, they're not saying
have actual like missions, like special to every character. That would be amazing. I mean, I don't think they will, simply because that's a lot of work to do on their side. But yeah, I mean, I'd love to. I want that. I'm not saying I don't want that.
It wouldn't surprise me, because if you look at Lego The Force Awakens, there were missions that had nothing to do with Force Awakens that you could go do, and they were like preludes to the film, like Lor San Tekka, trying to find Lor San Tekka on Jakku before the film picked up, or playing as Lor San Tekka when he's getting the little chip with the map to Skywalker. That's all in the Lego Force Awakens. And nice. And so it wouldn't surprise me to find out that they have little, I mean, it may not be a fleshed out huge world, but maybe a mission here and there for each of them to play as. It says pre-order the game and get day one access to Trooper Pack. The digital edition also includes an exclusive classic Obi-Wan Kenobi playable character.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's everything that comes with this particular game. I'm head over heels for this game, and I remember saying a few years ago. So I had a mailbag question back. When was it? 2018. When did Last Jedi come out? 2017. I think it did. So it was 2018. I got the question. Somebody asked me why didn't we never got a Lego game for the Last Jedi, and I'm like, that's a good question. I was like, I don't know, and I said the only thing I could think of is maybe they're holding off to do the entire trilogy. Because Force Awakens was such a big game. I was like, maybe they're holding off to do the entire trilogy as one massive game. Little did I know they were doing the entire trilogy of trilogies and doing one massive game. So I'm ecstatic over this one. I can't wait to start doing some playthrough videos and some streams and broadcasts of sitting down and 100%ing this thing. And Lego games, you mentioned earlier the satisfaction of finishing a video game, the accomplishment. Lego games are all about collecting. Everything about the Lego games is collecting. So once you collect everything, there's a satisfaction to that is just, it is just sublime. So
yeah, when you complete your set in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tedious, and you might get pissed off trying to get to a certain piece. You're like, how in the hell do you get to that? But once you get it, you're like, yes. So Lego Star Wars the Skywalker Saga is coming out on April 5th. And I can't wait.
If anyone listening to this has not picked up a Lego game before, genuinely, it's worth. If you, I know how difficult it is to get into it. The first few minutes, you feel like, what the hell's going on? This seems silly. Trust me, it's more fun than silly. You
it's
just
addictive.
Play through it a little bit, and you get through the levels. Once you start leveling through, once you start playing through it, you'll be like, oh wait, actually, I want to go back and do that better. That's how you'll feel about it.
Oh yeah, they're addictive, and it's because of that. It's because of that satisfaction that comes with them.
Once you start accomplishing within that game, that's insane.
Yep, love them. Number 2 on the list, we've got an untitled Ubisoft open world game. We don't know anything about when this one's being released. I think it's set for 2024. I think is what the speculation is right now. It's being developed by Massive Entertainment, which is the studio that did The Division 1 and 2. Usef, what do you think, man? What do you? I mean, because you know me, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed guy, so I'm excited to see what they can do with this.
Same. So here's the thing, right? So Ubisoft gave us 2 amazing strands, and we're going to talk about one of these later because of EA. Ubisoft gave us 2 amazing different branches of games.
Mm-hmm.
First one is Far Cry. The other one is Assassin's Creed, in no particular order, right? So obviously, Assassin's Creed being both our favorite, you and I, like we love Assassin's Creed. I love Assassin's Creed since I picked it up randomly when PS2 came out in 2000.
Wow, all the way back to the first
2007. Yeah, the first Assassin's Creed. I picked that up randomly. You know, I'm in Egypt. It was based in Middle East, assassins and like history. I was like, there's no way I'm not buying this game.
Oh yeah.
And PS2 had just come out, next gen stuff. It was actually PS3 at the time. PS3 coming out and next gen stuff. Let's see what it's about. It was amazing at the time. So for me to go through Assassin's Creed, we cannot tie this next game to Assassin's Creed too much.
No.
Because it doesn't necessarily have to be drawn off from it.
Right.
But there's so much that I want from Assassin's Creed that is Star Wars, right? I want the open world. I want the customization. I want the ability to like go off into different locations. You know, whether it's the viewpoints, whether it's Mos Eisley, whether it's the towns, whether it's the climbing, whether it's the, there's this thing which Ubisoft does, which is like, going around and searching different chests and stuff and opening up and collectible armor and materials.
They're great at world building.
Exactly. Now that is the thing. That is the thing. I was about to say that's not important, right? Like looking at the chests and exploring and stuff. What's more important is the world building. What's more important is what you're a part of. Is that you're feeling you're in a singular collective environment. And if we get that for Star Wars, then the sky's the limit, right? Or the galaxy's limit, whatever it is we want to say. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say something which I'm wishing for. I'm wishing for something where you can go from, not only are you riding vehicles like on world, but also hopefully getting onto your starship and traveling in between worlds. I'm not sure how that will look. Not sure how I want it to feel, but I'm genuinely wishing that I can have like, you know, switching in between combat and then traveling. Yeah, about it too much because we got a lot to talk about in this episode. Yeah, whatever our viewers really want, I genuinely want to hear what our viewers want out of this game, because there's so much you could want out of something like this. An open world Star Wars game?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what's crazy,
What we all
the
want.
rest of these games, they don't really. I mean, Jedi Fallen Order was kind of open world. It had a linear story to it, but it had open world elements to it. But this one, when they're saying they're focusing on the open world aspect of this game, that excites that excites me. And the fact that it's being made by the same studio that did The Division 1 and 2, I loved The Division. I was one of those people that I latched onto the first Division game and I just wrote it. Like it was, I couldn't stop. And then when 2 came out, I was excited. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I did the first one. But I still really loved running around a quarantined New York and the way that third person kind of aspect worked with it. I absolutely loved it. So, and there was a lot of exploration in those games as well, going through and finding different audio files and echoes and stuff like that. So, but you could explore that world and that, you know, that version of New York and just get lost in it. So and same thing with DC. I loved it. And the fact that you could set up like your headquarters in the White House, that was so cool. And
Yeah.
you know, and just the way the game works. So I'm really excited to see what they can do with Star Wars. I don't think they're going to use the exact same mechanics as Division, but I heard it's going to be similar. But I am very, very. That could have been a rumor too, for all I know. But I'm very
excited to see Star Wars be closer to Division rather than Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed's already like it's already
it's kind of
done.
its own
Like,
thing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's already done. Like it's already been there, done that. Like we can't just do a copy, especially since Ubisoft got really shown up a little bit because of I don't know if you've played this
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes. You know what we're talking about.
I want to play it. Actually, I'm thinking about picking up the director's cut this weekend. Really considering.
I already have, and I've just started it. I can't talk too much about it, but yeah, we should both actually talk about it and maybe do a playthrough online or something.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah.
We could totally do that. But yeah, the thing is that Assassin's Creed is so been there, done that. That Division is actually really worth it. Especially it's not been fleshed out yet. You haven't seen what it can do, what can be done with it just yet. Yeah, without sounding too fanboying about it.
No. Ubisoft. I love everything Ubisoft does, and you know, even with Assassin's Creed, everybody kind of. And I wouldn't say everybody. There's some fans that were like, well, God, go back to the original way you used to do Assassin's Creed, not this RPG stuff. I love the RPG stuff.
I love the RPG. Are you kidding? Like,
Origins,
isn't that the point?
Assassin's Creed Origins, I fangirled.
Origins is my thing, man.
I geeked out when that first cinematic trailer hit for Origins. Yeah. I lost my collective shit.
Yeah.
I was just like, no way.
Origins, and then I thought there was no way to top that, and then they literally came out with Odyssey, which was almost a literal Odyssey.
It was.
It never
it's
ending.
Impossible
by the
to
way,
100% that game.
If anybody wants to know how much of a gamer I am, like I fleshed out that game. I 100%ed Odyssey.
No, you didn't.
Huge.
No way.
Yes, I did. I've got.
Did you really?
100%ed. 100%ed it. On expanding DLCs and all. That is an amazing game. I loved it so much that I finished it. Origins and Odyssey.
I did
but
Origins.
Valhalla, I won't be able to because
yeah.
Valhalla is just so damn repetitive that I just like I've been tired with this. But yeah, that's how much I loved it, and I love the mythology of it. It's amazing. That's just basically what I grew up on. That is the basis of all my storytelling love. Is just the mythology of ancient Egypt and ancient Greece. It's amazing. So to then see that. And hopefully we'll be able to relive that with our favorite genre, hopefully Star Wars.
I'm excited for it. So, yes, we don't know exactly when this one is releasing. I think the rumor right now is 2024, which God, with all this other stuff coming out, it'll be here before we know it. Yeah. So, number 3 on the list is one I think surprised a lot of people, and it made a lot of people very, very happy. It is the Knights of the Old Republic remake that they announced a handful of months ago. It is set for release in 2023. Right before, literally the weekend before they announced this, I started to play through on the original Knights of the Old Republic on my original Xbox. And then when they announced this, I'm like, screw it, I'm waiting. I'm just like, I'm not gonna play. But this is gonna be awesome because people have been crying for this remake for years and years and years, and we're finally getting it, man. Are you expecting this to be basically a shot for shot, or are you hoping they add some more to it?
Yeah. I'm expecting it to be a shot for shot. Maybe they'll expand a little bit on what people have wanted, not just like the cinematic stuff, but also like, actually seeing cinematic stuff in the games, because obviously in these days it's not so cool to see such a like an amazing video, and then in the end you're looking at the game and it's nothing like the video. They're trying to make it a little bit closer, but you're not going to get that because it's just a remake of an old game, so it's not the same. Like you don't have the capability to flesh out as much in the new in this kind of game as you do in the new game. But I can't wait for it because guess what? I have never actually completed a playthrough.
You've never finished it?
Never, ever. I mean, it's been ages, and it was only on my laptop and stuff. So, and I was studying and all that, and I never actually got into it. But no, I am overdue, long overdue. That's a baddie. That's a bad one on my side.
Shame on you, man.
Need to. Yes, indeed.
Shame on you and your family. No, Knights of the Old Republic. So when I got my first Xbox, it was back in like 2002, and I got 2 games for Christmas that year. It was Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, and Knights of the Old Republic. And I started playing Jedi, and I got into it, and then I started playing KOTOR, and I was at an age, I was like 13 or 14, where it just wasn't exactly what I expected out of a Star Wars game, and so I quit playing, and I was like, not my kind of thing. And then a couple of years later, I'm like, I'm going to go back and give that game a shot. I'm going to get into it and say, oh my God.
Yeah,
it was like, you finally get off a terrace and this game just explodes. And it's like, God. And I never once saw the big reveal coming. I'm sure you know the reveal, even if you haven't finished it.
I do, just because I watched.
Right.
Not played it. That's the thing.
Okay, so I'm not spoiling anything if I say it.
Amazing. Oh, no, please.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I'm not going to say it.
By the way, if anybody wants to watch the playthrough, it would be worth it not watching it until the remake comes out. And then you play it.
Don't let it be spoiled for you.
Seriously. Oh, goodness me. It's seriously worth it.
That
is some real legit Star Wars lore. Imagine you years ago, imagine you being as a hardcore Star Wars fan as you are today.
Yeah. Oh, my God. And playing that for
years
the first time.
ago in the past. Being just diving into Star Wars lore, that is what you had to deal with, and you were the core of Star Wars if you knew what was going on in this game, because you were like, oh, is this a possibility? Is this what's going on? Is this something? Yeah, it was amazing.
It was insane. That was another one you could just plug yourself into the story, and there were parts there. I remember there's one particular part in that game where you get a stowaway on your ship from Dantooine, and she only speaks Mandalorian. And so you can either learn the language to speak to her, and you get light side points, which is just tedious and it takes forever, or you can kick her off your ship and get dark side points. And I found out that if you kick her off your ship and you catch her just 5 or 6 feet before she runs away, and you keep kicking her off the ship, you just keep getting more and more and more and more dark side points. So you can just go just completely evil, and you can be like normal looking when you kick her off the first time. By the time she's off, your skin's all cracked out, you're pale, you got glowing eyes, but it was
completely dark sided.
Yeah, just because of this girl. And then you can catch her at the end and still get the light side points by learning the language. But things like that in the game, it let you chart your own path through it. And it was so much fun. And it's so hard to be mean to video game characters. I don't know what it is. It is just really hard to be mean to Star Wars characters.
It's just because it's a video game, so people it's not socially acceptable apparently, or something, some bullshit.
Yeah, there's something.
I love dark side. I love evil.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they still integrate that system, that choice making system, into this game, and I can't wait to see what they end up doing with it. So that's number 3, man. Knights of the Old Republic remake coming out next year. Number 4 is one that I think is kind of in the air right now. We're not entirely sure if this one's going to happen, but we're going to talk about it anyway. Star Wars Eclipse, being developed by Quantic Dream. This is the same studio that has done the Detroit Become Human. They've done Until Dawn. They've done a lot of these decision-based games, and to find out they're doing a Star Wars game, which the trailer just dropped.
Detroit. I loved Beyond Two Souls. I loved those two. It's such a cinematic experience as games. Seriously, there's a huge niche for that growing now. It's beyond if anybody's not played it but has played any Telltale series. No, this is something else entirely. So if you play Telltale, it's more like you choose some steps and it's very animated and you go through it and it's a fantastic storytelling experience. No, like seriously, Detroit and Beyond Two Souls, you need to pick those two up in any way. Even if you just watch them on YouTube a little bit, you will wish that you played those games. It's so.
I loved Detroit Become Human, and because there was like 7 different endings to that game.
Exactly,
and it was
for each character as well. And I genuinely loved each character. It was fantastic.
And going back and forth between like Connor and Kara and all these other characters, like even switching between the characters, you weren't disappointed. You're like, I got to go back to play this character for a little while. It was still fun playing as all 3 of these.
Exactly, and you want to go back. And be like, I completely forgot about you. Let's see what happens here. Yes.
Absolutely.
Have you played Heavy Rain?
I have it, but I haven't played it. I've got it, but I haven't played it.
I absolutely love it. Also fantastic. So these 3 are along the same lines: Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, and Beyond Two Souls. Genuinely. Oh, Beyond Two Souls, by the way, has some heavy actors in it. Like, it's got Willem Dafoe and it's
the great Willem Dafoe. We have to refer to him as the great Willem Dafoe.
The great Willem Dafoe, absolutely. And Heavy Rain is more of a crime thriller sort of thing. And it's got a different sort of layout than the other games. The story's not as straightforward as you think it is, and it's much shorter as well. But seriously, if we are getting that for Star Wars, I am head over heels. Like, I can't wait. I have no idea what story it is. We don't know. We don't know.
They
what
said
story
this
it
is set. They did say this is set in High Republic. So this will be a High Republic game.
I know that.
Yeah. This will be a High Republic game, and they do have a teaser trailer out for it. But what I mentioned earlier about some of the problems, and I guess I didn't realize it was this big a deal until a couple weeks ago. We were talking about it in the chat for all the hosts for the shows and everything, is I guess there's a lot of behind-the-scenes controversy going with the CEO. I think it's the CEO, the president maybe, of Quantic Dream. He's been making some comments and stuff that don't really shine a great light on him concerning women and stuff like that. So we'll wait and see what happens. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm hoping this game still gets pushed through. They don't have anything close to a release window for this thing yet, but it's interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see what the development.
My
for this
short
game looks
statement
like.
for this game is that I would be surprised. I really want to be surprised. So, for example, the previous game we talked about, like the open world, I want to be impressed. Because we've seen open worlds, we've seen The Witcher, we've seen Ubisoft's games, we've seen other games open worlds. There's a huge thing about sandbox and open world games and things like that. So we know that we want something that's competitive, we want something that's fleshed out, we want something Star Warsy. But with this one, I really just want to be surprised. I want an experience, man. I want to get a roller coaster. I want to get immersive. I want to get something because you're playing through a cinematic experience. It's gonna be awesome. I hope.
Yeah, no, I'm really looking forward to it, and to find out, because I mean, it's gonna have to be a character. If this game does come out, it's gonna have to be a character. Where if it's choice driven, the way these other games were that this studio did.
Oh, that's the way to go now.
Oh yeah, and you can make it a character that isn't gonna have anything to do with the major overall events of the galaxy. So no matter what you end up doing, it's not gonna affect anything overall. Which may take away from it for some people, but to know that you're not affecting anything in the galaxy. But at the same time, you can kind of chart your own path into the Star Wars galaxy and make it your own story, and then you can say my story is Star Wars canon. You know,
absolutely.
and
exactly.
I'd love something like that.
You have affected the story in this way, if that's possible. Yeah,
right. So we'll wait and see if that game is if it ever sees the light of day. I'm hoping it does, and I guess time will tell. So now we're going to get into these 3 that EA just announced last week. I'm very excited about at least 2 of these, and one of them I'm a little on the fence about. I'm indifferent about, I guess I should say, but we'll get to it. Number 5 is the Untitled Star Wars Jedi sequel. It's being developed by EA and Respawn Entertainment. Jedi Fallen Order was one of the greatest, not the greatest, but one of the greatest Star Wars games I've ever played.
Agreed.
I absolutely adored that game. Cal Kestis ended up being one of the most beloved characters outside of the films that I've ever seen.
Exactly. It created such a good narrative.
Yes. And you know, even with the big reveal toward the end with who pops up,
yep.
and the way it's all tied together. And you know, they said this may not necessarily be a sequel to that game because it's going to have a different title. It'll be Star Wars Jedi blah 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 or some, you know, whatever it is. Which is cool because they can, I mean, we all want them to stay with Cal Kestis, obviously, but they could end up going to another Jedi that's running around the same time period, and you know, then do a third game with another character, and then do a fourth game where they all 3 kind of come together, or you know, something along those lines. But with Jedi Fallen Order, I was a pleasant surprise for me because when I was looking at the trailers, I was like, this just looks like Force Unleashed with Battlefront graphics. Like, that's honest to God what it looked like to me. And upon playing it, I was wrong. I admit it. I was totally wrong. I definitely want to see where they end up going with the story. Because at the end of the first one now, Vader knows this guy exists. And he got away. You know what I'm saying? Like, so... Did we lose Usef? Oh.
No, I'm here.
Oh, you're there. There he is.
The thing about this game, is that so now that we have something, it's like an anchor, so to speak.
Right.
You can expand on it. You can grow.
It was a good foundation.
More narratives along the same line. Yeah, it gives great foundation. Exactly. So and the thing is that you just said it right. Like you just said, it's Star Wars Jedi and then Fallen Order or another title or whatever. So they've we were talking online with JG earlier, and he was saying the exact same thing, right? So they've given this, you know, a sort of multitude of possibilities. If you want to be Star Wars Jedi Rey's legacy, if you want to be like as much as like go backwards and go forwards and go here and stay with Cal Kestis and stay with Order 66 and stay, there's so much you can do with this.
You use it as a way to introduce new characters too.
And this possibility,
you know?
I actually hadn't thought about what you just said, like actually talking about 2-3 different narratives and then bringing them together eventually. That is that is amazing right there. There's a possibility. You know, I mean, I'm not sure how far you can go with that in terms of disrupting the current canon,
right.
But definitely still huge areas of exploring. Like, I mean, I love Jedi Fallen Order. Simply going,
me too,
to all the you know, I don't
seeing
want to
Dathomir.
go into it too much. Dathomir, like
yes.
the planets and stuff. I know it was a little bit hectic. It was a little bit tedious for some people who wanted to 100% it.
Mm-hmm.
I know, I do know that Brian and I did it, and we are gamers, so we do this stuff. But
I think the only trophy I didn't get.
We still do it.
There's only one trophy I didn't get on that game, and it was, I think, kicking one of the toads.
Oh no, that was
on Braca. Not Braca.
It wasn't easy, but it wasn't difficult. Like I got it eventually at the end. It was one of those things where it was like a chore. Like I kept practicing.
You got to look up on YouTube and like, okay, how'd this guy do it? Okay, let's just try that. You know. But I think I got everything else. I got all the collectibles. I know that. But I think that one trophy is the one I was missing.
If we've got any followers who are gamers and like playing with mods, they may or may not have played Fallen Order with a mod that has the Mandalorian, like actual Din Djarin as the main character in Fallen Order. That's been around for a while now.
Right.
Like you play Fallen Order as Mandalorian. It was pretty cool. With like lightsaber and stuff. It's amazing. But yeah, there's a lot you can do, obviously. With, you can
make it the Darksaber now.
You can make it Darksaber, I suppose. If you've got the mod, then you can definitely do it. I'm really excited with the next one because it's going to be a sequel in terms of an experience. I'm hoping as a narrative as well, because I do want to see how Cal Kestis fares in his next story. Because his story is quite cool.
It is
cool, actually.
He's got an awesome story. Yeah. And it's tragic too. It's
very tragic. Exactly.
To see all these different Jedi that. Order 66 from their points of view. Now we've seen Ahsoka, and you see all and all these Jedi that you keep seeing these. Even Kanans. We saw Kanans in the first episode of Bad Batch.
Yes.
To see all these different Order 66s and to see his and how close he was with his master, how young he was, and how impressionable he still was, naive, and to see all these tragic events happening around him and how they fleshed him out and how they forced him to grow, and and it forced him to become who he was on Braca. It's an awesome backstory, and to see how he dealt with it.
Supposed to come out end of 2023.
I don't think they've said. I don't think they've announced this one. They just said. Hang on, let me look. Maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong.
No, I mean I don't know of a date. I know of end of 2023, early 24, something like that.
I don't think they gave a date.
But yeah, the amazing thing about this game is the production value of it. So they did it the same way Santa Monica did the God of War games. Like they brought in the motion capture, the acting, the actual actors came into a studio and they put on like the whole dots for the motion capture and they wore the actual like the costumes and stuff. It was fantastic. The production value is just going to get better and better and better. And we saw amazing droid action, like the introduction, the BD droid.
Yeah.
We saw really
BD
good stuff.
BD1, Inquisitors. BD1 was
this was a great game to introduce so many characters, so many facets of the Star Wars universe. So not just BD, but like the Inquisitors. So people hadn't actually understood how Darth Vader did, like, because when it was introduced in the comics, everybody who reads the comics is like, oh yeah, we understand what the Inquisitors are. Everybody else doesn't. And they're like, oh, wait, so there are Force-sensitive people like that, Force users that Darth Vader used? Is that true? Is that a thing? Is that whatever? And only if you read the comics, you actually understood how far that went. But this really showed you what happens. And, this was a concept that not everybody understood. But, yeah, I don't want to talk too much about it because I feel like but it's so good because it just showed me more Star Wars. That's a short statement about it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait to see more.
I'm excited for it.
Extremely. Oh yeah.
EA and Respawn knocked it out of the park.
I'm excited for all of it, basically.
Yeah, they knocked the first one out of the park. So I complete trust in them in the next one, and I want to see it go darker because I want to see it go really dark.
We all want to see it go. We all want to see it go heavier. If you
heavier. That's the word.
Lighter, if you want to see whatever.
Heavier. That's the word.
Heavier, like more drama, more.
Yes, because we've got the characters established now. Now let's see where we can take them from there. After we've established.
Are you okay with it staying linear? Are you okay with this one staying linear?
You mean kind of you talking about the same way the first one was? How you go to this planet, go to that planet? Yeah, like I'm okay with that. It worked. It's one of those things where if it's not broken, don't fix it. And I didn't see anybody complaining about it. So if it's not broken, don't fix it. Keep doing the same. Don't just take the first game and just basically change the missions and new skins and then send it out. Don't do that. Make it a new experience.
Yeah, that's kind of. Because that's kind of indirectly what I'm saying. That's what I think they're going to do.
That Call of Duty does that, and it pisses me off.
Yeah,
and I think Call of Duty is the best example of that.
Because I mean, it's just a team, right? It's just going to be a team of the guys that did the first Jedi Fallen Order. Okay, guys, do a second one. You know what I mean? So they're going to do it a little bit better, but they're going to do a second one. That's what I think is going to happen. But I still want it. But I mean,
I'm hoping that the first one was not lightning in a bottle. I'm hoping that lightning can strike twice and they can come up with a second game where we are craving a third one, and if they leave us with a second game that just has everybody begging and craving for a third one, they did it right. They did their job. So I'm excited for it. I can't wait. And as soon as the title's announced, which is the first thing they're going to reveal for this, as soon as the title's announced, everybody's going to start speculating.
Cool title. Well, something to get you dragged back to it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for it. The second game EA is working on is an untitled first-person shooter, which they didn't say a whole lot about. The article on StarWars.com says, working with Lucasfilm Games on a new first-person shooter in the Star Wars galaxy is a dream come true. This is a story I've always wanted to tell, said Hirschman, which Hirschman, I guess, is one of the higher-ups at EA. He said previously worked as VP of development at LucasArts and was executive producer on the original Star Wars Battlefront games. It says on the original Star Wars Battlefront games. It doesn't say the remakes, the newest, the updated ones we got. So I can't help but wonder if this isn't Battlefront 3.
This is our prediction, isn't it? Yeah.
I just because Battlefront 2 they already stopped. I don't want to say stopped service on, but they stopped any updates on. It's basically, I don't want to say dead in the water, but it's basically, it is what it is at this point. It's not getting any more updates, no content added, no characters added. So I can't help but wonder, now that we've got the entire Skywalker saga, and now we've got High Republic coming into it, and we've got, what if they are working on the biggest first-person shooter, the biggest Battlefront that we've ever seen? Because we've got, now that we're 3 books into the High Republic proper trilogy, now we've got Starlight Beacon, we've got fighting the Nihil, we've got the great hyperspace disaster and all this stuff that was happening, and these different battles with the Nihil, and the Drengir. They could just expand so hugely on Star Wars Battlefront at this point. I'd love to see it. I really would. But I'm worried if they do, it's going to be like that copy and paste thing we were talking about. Because the second one already had basically all the time periods in it, all the main characters you could play as. And if you do a new one, you're basically just taking that, copying, pasting, maybe put a new campaign in it, introduce a new set of characters instead of Inferno Squad, have a new set of characters for a campaign, and then maybe add a High Republic to it. But I'm almost balls to bone convinced that this is Battlefront 3. What do you think?
Yeah, I do think the same. I mean, my issue with it is exactly as you said. Like, I'm worried that it might be a little bit repetitive. It's probably going to be like just newer graphics, newer technology, things like that.
Right,
but,
updated for current gen, yeah.
I am excited for them installing new campaigns, though. And what I'm really excited for them to do, have you seen a game called Anthem?
Yes.
So,
my buddy Kyle got me to get Anthem, yes.
Exactly. So the thing about Anthem, it's really close to Destiny. If anybody listening hasn't
it's Destiny with Iron Man suits.
Exactly. And the thing about that is there's a lot of cool drop-in battles and drop-in story modes. So I mean, they're really short story modes just to get you into a sort of mission. Drop-in campaigns where you can do a multiplayer. It's just a sort of mini narrative, and then you guys play the hell out of a certain level. I'm really looking forward to that for Star Wars. So if we can get that, where we sort of drop in, oh my goodness, if we can formulate our own teams where I'm a Mandalorian, another guy's another bounty hunter, someone else is like a Republic, sort of thing. Another
different
guy's
classes
like a TIE fighter.
Different
classes, different ideas, different things. And then you mash them together into one team, and we drop into a different planet. And we've got like a Sarlacc we're like taking down, or we've got like something. Holy crap, guys! If we do that, we're in. We're in it. We're in it. That's it, right? Isn't that what we want to see from a huge multiplayer shooter? Because honestly, by the way, I am full disclosure here. I am not an online gamer. I much prefer campaigns,
story games.
I'm the kind of guy to much prefer a book to going out and talking to my friends.
Yeah,
so
I'm the same way.
Right, that I much prefer having like a storyline, talking to it, and fleshing it out. Back and forth, hitting it back and forth. If I'm to like have a game with like online and multiplayer and stuff, I don't want to be subjected to like depending on other people in the games. However, if I'm gonna be, obviously I do it still. But if I'm going to be really, really subjected to it and trying to flesh it out, I'd much rather have a universe where I can have so many different like possibilities,
right?
And choosing different classes and trying out different characters,
right?
That would be really cool. Without going into too much about it, because we're still speculating, right? We haven't heard much about it. Yeah.
I remember which Assassin's Creed game was it? I think it was Unity, when they did the 4-player co-op.
Oh right, yeah, Unity. That was the first real Assassin's Creed game with
multiplayer. Yeah, I had a couple of buddies that we got together on that, and we ended up, excuse my language, we were fucking shit up. I mean, we were, because we as 4 assassins, you could really work together, and you do this, you do this, you do that, and it just. We were unstoppable. It was so much fun to be able to do something like that. Everybody has a different job. Everybody does their job. Here's a good.
Yeah.
We don't talk about
like one of you could disguise themselves, the other one could sneak, the other one could be the brute, the other one could be
Okay, so I'm going to bring up a game, and it's going to be sacrilege to bring it up on a Star Wars podcast.
No, go for it.
Here we go. So Star Trek has got a game called Bridge.
Right.
I know, right? It's got a game called Bridge Crew or something like that. But it's a VR game where one person's a captain, one's on helm, one's on like weapons or whatever, one's on communications, and you all have your own job to do. And you all work together to do these different missions and these battles and whatnot. And you have to follow your orders. You do what you're told. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so you actually have you're actually a crew. I would love to see that kind of teamwork come into a Star Wars game. You know, be a crew of bounty hunters where each bounty hunter's got a different skill. You know, like anytime you see all these bounty hunters get together and you see, what was his name? Embo from Clone Wars. I think his name was Embo. The guy with the big round rimmed hat, not Cad Bane. Obviously, Cad Bane could be there too.
No, not Cad Bane, obviously.
But Embo, if I remember right, I think that was his name. But he used his hat basically as like a Captain America
Cad
shield.
Bane. If I was Cad Bane and you were Mando and somebody else was Boba Fett, we were just ringing.
We had a Fennec Shand, like it would just.
Fourth was a Fennec Shand,
and then you could add in Bosk and Zuckuss and Forlom and IG-88.
Lando.
Like you could add all these different characters, and you could really.
It's so cool to be a droid, by the way.
Yeah. Like you could have a robust kind of crew where you each had different jobs that you had to do, and then get out. Go in, do your portion, get out, and you had to rely on the team. I would love to see that brought to Star Wars, and we'll 100%. See. We'll see, but
we need to do an episode where we think about Star Wars from the Trekkies' perspective. We need to bring in Stephen Hall on this as well, because he's such a Trekkie guy as well.
Yeah,
I'm sure so many of our listeners have been both Trekkies and Star Wars fans. We need to do this one.
Oh no, that's a good idea. We could. Oh, we're gonna start a war. We are gonna start. You ever seen the movie Fanboys?
Not. Oh yeah, I have actually.
Dude, I just showed my father-in-law Fanboys for the first time a handful of weeks ago, and I forgot how much fun that movie was. And I was thinking too, we're going to talk about Book of Boba Fett here in a little bit, but the fact that Danny Trejo is in Star Wars now, and he was in Fanboys, so we have a new Fanboys cameo for Star Wars.
I didn't think about it that way.
Because Danny Trejo was the one that gave him the peyote in the film, so he's in Star Wars now, so it's another little cameo. But anyway. Yeah, we've got an Untitled first-person shooter coming. I'm excited to see what it's going to be. I'm excited about all these, but this next one I'm a little indifferent about. I'm not real big on strategy games, and I'm wondering if this is going to be an RTS. For those of you that don't know, it's a real-time strategy game. Maybe not all of y'all are as heavy nerd as we are, but I'm wondering if this is going to be an RTS.
It might be compared to, like, the easiest one off the bat to compare an RTS to is Age of Empires or World of Warcraft or something like that.
Yeah,
but I know World of Warcraft.
Star Wars,
it's more of MMORPG. So.
There was a Star Wars one called Galactic Battlegrounds.
Yeah.
That I just hang on. I'm going to look up and see if EA's ever done an RTS. I don't think they have. Oh yeah, no.
Actually, the likely scenario for this Star Wars game strategy might be based off of Civilization. Actually. It might be a turn-based. It might be, yeah. It might be because the director apparently was someone who worked on Civ 6.
Oh, I guess Command and Conquer was EA. I guess I didn't realize. I forgot about that.
Command and Conquer was EA.
Yeah.
Command and Conquer is RTS. It is real-time strategy. And in all cases, I'm a huge strategy fan. Like, all of the Total War games. I don't play Warhammer so much. I know everybody's been getting into Warhammer lately, especially since Henry Cavill came out and was like, "Oh, I play Warhammer and stuff." But
yeah, they're all hoping to run into him.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I love all the Total War series, like Medieval 2, Rome 2. I am a Roman history fiend. Like, if anybody just wants to talk to me just about that on Discord, I am willing to just open a channel specifically for history. And come visit me in Egypt, guys. You will have no idea. Like, I'll take you around everywhere for free.
We're going to one of these days. Me and Kirsty are going to make it out there one of these days.
We need to get 1138 Productions over here to Egypt.
That'd be absolutely awesome.
Yeah. No, we will, 100%.
We need to.
One of these days. But
one of these days, yeah.
In terms of strategy games, I'm up there. Like, I just love them absolutely to death. So I can't wait to see what Star Wars has cooked up. If it's base building, if it's anything remotely in terms of like building up like rosters and factions and stuff, even whether it's an RTS, whether it's turn-based, the whole fleshing out and creating. I'm pretty sure what Star Wars might decide to do, what Lucasfilm might decide to do here, is create something which is basic, not in detail, not advanced, nothing, and then create an open source file so that everybody can go in and mod the hell out of it. If they do that, then they're basically creating what Elder Scrolls did. Because Elder Scrolls really, I know it's not a strategy game, Elder Scrolls, but still, what Elder Scrolls did was sort of create a base game so that everybody else can mod the hell out of it. And that's what keeps people coming in for it 10 years later, even though it's a huge, huge world. That's what potentially Lucasfilm can do with this game. Strategy game, which can be completely modded and edited and so on, without talking too much, because we're still speculating at this point. So we can talk endless stories about it.
I'm not real big on RTSs. I did play Galactic Battlegrounds a lot when I was I was a teenager. I played. I wore my disc out.
Everybody finds their strategy niche sort of thing.
Yeah,
because that's how it hits you, right? As a teenager, sort of growing up. That's what it hit us, at least.
Yeah, because I started with StarCraft, and I was like, okay, I can kind of get into StarCraft, and then I found Galactic Battlegrounds, and I was like, yeah, no, screw everything else. I was like, I'm playing this, but because it was right when, God, what year was it? Was that when episode? No, okay, so it was when episode 1 came out, but there was an expansion for it for episode 2 with the Clone Wars. So that should tell you it came out between, I think it was like 2000, 2001, something like that. But anyway, I'm hoping this has a good canon story with it too. I'm hoping, because, look at something like Halo Wars. Halo Wars had a really cool story to it, and it was an RTS. And I'm really hoping that they can.
I had a friend wish that they could do Halo Wars, but if it was Clone Wars based.
Yes.
Like an RTS Clone Wars with like stormtroopers, and then you've got Jedi heroes and stuff, and like droids. Like you can set up like certain like droid battalions and stuff for yourself, or like depending on obviously what side you're playing. That would be amazing, honestly, because it's such a cool concept. And you can have like Grievous, you can have like different. Crap.
Oh God!
And that would be really,
and if they're
really,
smart,
really cool.
And if they're smart, they'll release this on console also, and not just PC.
No, I mean,
because Halo War, there's, I guess, like I said, I'm not real big on RTS. Do most real time strategies release on console now too?
Not most, but some, yeah. So but some of them are, because they'll do the basic controls, and they'll do like a sort of thing where, like you have adaptive touch on your phone and stuff for your games. So you'll have like a game which is like PC or console. Then you can have it on your phone, like a mobile version. So they'll do the same. Any PC game which is like an RTS, they'll do a version which is for console as well. So they'll still have all the characters in the roster.
But they just port it.
They may not be as fleshed out, but they'll do it.
Yeah. They just basically port it.
Yeah.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I'm hoping that this ends up being something that even I find fun. Because I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm a little indifferent with the RTS aspect of it, but I get why they're doing it, because there's some people out there that just they're I don't want to say pandering, but they're looking at different audiences that they can reach out to, and RTS, there's a bunch of people that just play nothing but RTSs. So why not make something that you can market towards them as well? So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to all these. I can't believe I live in a time where I get to look forward to 7 Star Wars games at once.
7 Star Wars games at once.
That will hopefully all be, all the stories will be canon. We're looking at High Republic. We're looking at Knights of the Old Republic. Part of me is still hoping that they come out and say, yeah, now that Knights of the Old Republic remake is out, it's canon. I'm hoping to God, because this is their opportunity to do it. It's either shit or get off the pot. This is their opportunity to either say, yes, it's canon, or no, it's not. So I'm looking forward to all these, and as the years go, we are going to do playthroughs of every single one of these. I guarantee it. 100%ing all of them. Can't wait. So that's the video game news for the week. Let's get into some mailbag questions, man. We got 3 of them this week. Last week,
really good ones too.
Oh yeah, they're really good ones. Last week when the podcast returned, I let you guys know you could send in mailbag questions to Star Wars Canon Podcast at gmail.com. You guys didn't disappoint.
Which we absolutely love.
Oh yeah, we love hearing from you guys. Absolutely. And we kind of filed through. We picked out a few really good ones and decided to include them on the show. So let's get into this, shall we? First question this week comes from Leslie Schroeder. And Leslie says, "Hey, Brian, welcome back. It's so good to have you back on the podcast. My sister and I were wondering if you thought maybe someday we'd get a project from Lucasfilm that was mainly women involved. From the cast to the crew, everything. And is this something you'd want to see? Thank you for keeping the Star Wars fandom positive. Thanks for the kind words, Leslie. Yeah, this isn't something that I'm against. This is something I think if it's done right, they can pull it off. Because there's already been moments in Mandalorian where the season finale of 2 in Mandalorian, when Fennec and Bo-Katan and you know, when they stormed the ship with the Dark Troopers on it, we didn't even realize, because they were so badass. We didn't even realize until later on. We're like, oh crap, that was like a girl power scene, you know, because it was done correctly. So if they can do it correctly and it doesn't come off kind of cringy the way like Avengers Endgame did, I'm totally on board for something like this. What do you think, man?
Oh yeah, completely, 100%, exactly as you said it. Like the fact that we have been getting badass women in Star Wars,
So
but we
many.
haven't, you know, they haven't been spotlighted for a while. And we shared this a few days ago. Like somebody, I think it was Nick Albers, shared this a few days ago. Like we have been getting Rey, and somebody was like saying, "Oh, Rey is the first fleshed out female character." We've had
Wrong.
We've had Ahsoka since the 2000s.
Harrison
and we've had
Dula.
like many other, exactly. We've had like many characters, as well as in the novels. So in terms of women characters in Star Wars and women empowerment, I have personally never felt like there was a lack of
Oh yeah.
girl power in Star Wars or women empowerment in Star Wars. And to the point where we don't care if it's a guy or girl. It's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
no, as long as
that's how
it's
cool Star Wars is about this.
as long as it's good talent, you know.
Exactly.
I mean, look
Yeah.
at Mandalorian, because we're getting ready to talk about Book of Boba Fett here in a minute. I haven't seen the
Yeah, we
newest
are, yeah.
episode of Boba Fett yet. I'm going to. I'll watch it before this even airs. But Bryce Dallas Howard directed this newest episode, and she did, you know, a couple episodes of Mandalorian. They were some of the best episodes.
Exactly.
You know, I don't want talent chosen only because of what somebody has between their legs. I don't want that. But you find
100%.
good talent,
Well said.
and you
Well said.
utilize that good talent. You know, no matter what gender they are, that doesn't matter. I'm on board for it. You find good talent across the board, I will watch it. Because you do a project like that, it could end up being the greatest Star Wars film ever.
Exactly, and I think that Star Wars oriented material, it won't necessarily be in such a way where it's specifically all female all throughout the story.
Right.
Because guess what? As you just said, we've had episodes, we've had snippets, we've had focuses where they've been all female characters that have done it. And we can still do it in the future. And Star Wars, Lucasfilm in particular, is not the kind to like focus its light on just female characters, but it might happen because we are hopefully getting an Ahsoka series. And
Yeah.
we've had many, so that can happen where you get multiple episodes where it's just female characters. And the short answer to this is, yeah, we will probably get all female narrative in Star Wars in the near future. That's the short answer. We already have amazing female heroines and really cool female baddies as well. I mean, that was clear. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, a really great question, by the way.
I thought so. Yeah, no, I'm on board with it. I really am. But like I said, I just don't want talent chosen just based off of gender, or, you know, and it goes further than gender too. Skin color. You don't have to make it a point to
100%,
go
yeah.
out of your way. You know what I'm saying? To
That's so beautiful
make a
about Star Wars
statement.
is that, you know, all the
Yeah.
races and all the colors and all the people, and they're still part of the same
It's
planet.
all
slash
so
galaxy
inclusive.
slash universe
Yeah.
slash narrative slash
Yeah,
exactly.
I love it. So thanks for the question, Leslie. I hope we answered it for you. So thank you for sending that in. The second question this week comes from Andrew Fleming, and Andrew says, glad to see you posting again, Brian and crew. I always look forward to your videos and content, and loved your ranking video this year. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Since you're back, I was hoping you could give your thoughts on the Book of Boba Fett so far. I've seen the fan base a little split. May the Force be with you. Thanks for the question, Andrew. Like I said, I haven't watched the newest episode yet. What was it, episode 5, chapter 5?
Yeah, it was 5.
But I've watched up to chapter 4, and I'm enjoying the crap out of it so far. I wasn't really enthralled with episode 3, chapter 3. I think that was the weakest one so far, the weakest episode. But other than that, chapter 4 just completely it made up for episode 3 for me. And how, and we're gonna openly talk about it so far, just because it's a week out already. But Boba made the comment to Fennec, how he was like, "Aren't you tired of working for people that are just trying to get you killed and they don't care about you?" And then 10 minutes later, he's trying to drive the Slave One into the Sarlacc pit. like it was funny, but I'm really enjoying this series so far. I think the flashbacks are basically done at this point. I could be wrong. I haven't seen the newest episode, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's not exactly what I was expecting, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But I'm digging it. What do you think, man?
I mean, the short answer to Andrew Fleming's question is you gotta wait till the season ends.
Yeah,
because Boba Fett is run in such a way where if you guys go back to remember how you felt when Mando came out, when Mandalorian came out, we didn't entirely know what to think about it until the season ended.
Right.
You saw different episodes do different things, and Mandalorian in particular was a sort of thing where, okay, we gotta draw in the viewership somehow, right? So this is not the same scenario. Boba Fett is trying to be its own thing. And in the latest episode, I won't spoil anything. I'll just say it's trying to build up the next coming episodes. So the thing is, right, that you have to just keep watching.
Right.
And I felt the same. So there's been many comments about Boba Fett. One of them was, for example, like, I came here to watch Star Wars, not Cyberpunk. So many. There's so much negativity about it, but there's also so much positivity about it. Like, the backstory, we do get a backstory about Boba Fett. How did he get out of the Sarlacc pit? What happened?
Which is something I always wanted to know.
And that is pretty cool. It's pretty fleshed out as well. Like, the whole process he does after he gets out of the pit. And it's pretty interesting as well. We get to see one of the very incredible characters, like, or factions, like the Sand People. How do we see them? What goes on? Are they inspired by a certain thing in real life? Are they not? What goes on behind their sort of shroud of mistiness or question marks, whatever it is? You've got a lot to look at in Boba Fett, but what we want to see is how it ends and how it builds onto whether it's merging with Mandalorian, whether it isn't, because everybody thought it would, and we're still sort of seeing how it's going to do that. That's the short answer, is just wait until the season ends and see what the story does, not just for Star Wars on the whole. Actually, I don't care about Star Wars on the whole in terms of Boba Fett. I want to see what it does for him. I want to see what it does for this character, because we don't know what's going on in between, the end of the Empire and then Episode 7. This is all new territory.
Yeah, it is. There's not a lot of canon material there to cover it either.
Exactly. There's absolutely zero. It's all still being built up. We don't know what Luke did. We don't know where Grogu goes. We don't know how Mando goes. We don't know what the planet of Mandalore does. We don't know what Boba Fett ends up doing. We don't know any of this. So we've still got a lot of ground here, which we can cover. It is mixed. I'm not going to say anything about it that's negative per se. I'm just going to say, guess what? Like, Star Wars Lucasfilm is introducing stuff that Star Wars can potentially use in the future. Cyberpunk stuff. Sure,
right? They're planting seeds here and there.
Exactly, and none of it is negative. You plant seeds, and you never know when you might need to call back to them in the future, right? I might not like him, but the character was pretty cool.
Right. Well, nobody liked Ahsoka when they first started either. When she first was introduced, you know what I'm saying? And you look at what happened with her. But what I like the most about this series and what they're doing with the character of Boba Fett is he was, in Return of the Jedi, he was just bounty hunter out for himself. And we've seen Boba, in Clone Wars as a young kid, and he really had the same attitude all the way through, basically. It's a job, it's a code of honor. Even in the comics, he's got, I don't want to say an anti-hero because he's not really a hero, but he works for whoever pays the highest. And when you get to a point where he almost died in the Sarlacc,
straight up mercenary, yeah,
and he escapes, he's gonna have a new lease on life. He's gonna have a new, and his time with the Tusken Raiders has really opened his eyes to what's going on Tatooine, these different crime syndicates, the way they're acting, the way they're behaving, the way they're terrorizing people, and it's what made him want to step up and take over Jabba's place. or I'm sorry, Bib Fortuna's place. And everybody's like, well, this isn't the Boba Fett from the classic trilogy. You are absolutely right. This is not the Boba Fett from the classic trilogy. This is a Boba Fett that has seen some shit and has had his head kind of turned around like, oh crap, I almost got myself killed doing what I was doing. I need to do something different, and kind of change course a little bit, which is it's a huge character development for Boba Fett. As a character, he goes from just doing these jobs for the money to actually trying to better Mos Espa, and rule with respect instead of fear. So I'm loving it. I don't see anything wrong with the arc they're taking Boba Fett in, the character. I'm really loving it. And actually, Fennec Shand is becoming a character that I'm really cool. Liking.
Fennec is really cool. Yeah.
There was one moment in the first episode where I was just like, what the, when they first get attacked and those guys with the laser shield standing around them and they're trying to fight. And finally the guy jumps up on the wall and Boba like unalives him with a missile and just turns him to red mist. And then the very next thing out of his mouth is Fennec alive. Well, you just like unalived that guy. He is not breathing anymore. He doesn't exist anymore. Like he is a cloud going that way. There's nothing left. Yeah, that's right. Control Alt Delete. He is gone. And I thought it was funny. And then when he told Fennec, "Are you tired of working for people who are just trying to get you killed?" And then 10 minutes later, he's flying the Slave One into the Sarlacc. It's like, what the hell? So, but I'm enjoying it. I'm really liking it so far. I can't wait we got 5, 6, I think there's 7 episodes in this series. So we have 2 more episodes. I have 3, but there's 2 more episodes to be released. And I don't remember who it was, but somebody, it might have been, I can never remember her name, but the actress that plays Fennec, I think she came out and said, once the last episode comes out, you're going to have an entirely new outlook on the series. So I'm excited to see where it's going to go. And Dave Filoni directed the next episode. He directed episode 6, so I'm excited to see what they're gonna do with it. I'm hoping, after we were in our chat the other day, and after I don't remember who it was, JG, I think JG's the one that brought up Cad Bane, and I'm like, I swear to God, if Cad Bane pops up in this series, I'm going to literally die. Yeah, I'm gonna squeal, because I almost already lost my mind when Black Chrysanthemum showed up. And I was just like, oh my God, because when he first walked, I was watching that episode with my father-in-law, and it showed him from behind first, and it showed all the ponytails going down his back and stuff. And as soon as I saw the ponytails, I'm like, no, it's not. There's no way they just brought Black Chrysanthemum in. And sure enough, they did.
And his entrance as well, like his whole presence was so cool.
Oh yeah,
especially in the last episode, in episode 4. Well, not the last episode, but episode 4.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he's ripping the Trandoshan arm off. Yeah,
exactly.
Because he was sitting there drinking, and he's looking over at the Trandoshans, and I'm like, oh, this is not going to end well.
He's pissed off. He's just like, you guys are taking me.
And you got to remember, the Trandoshans hunt Wookiees also. They're slavers and they hunt Wookiees, and so I'm like, and then when he saw the Gamorreans in Jabba's palace in episode 3, and he just like forgets about everybody else and attacks the Gamorreans, it makes total sense because they're slavers. You know what I mean? And he's got it out for them. And so the longer he sat there and drank,
if anybody watched that episode and thought this was a pointless thing where we just saw some Wookiee get angry at some people, and this was just a chance to use them. No. This was the chance to see some Star Wars lore, some backed up stuff.
Some payoff.
Very important. Exactly. If you are a fan of Wookiees, as I am, I fucking love Wookiees. They're like my spirit animal or race. Like I was in Star Wars, I'd be a Wookiee 100%. I am 6'5", I'm big, I'm Egyptian, I'm hairy. I am a Wookiee straight, like balls to bone. I'm a Wookiee. Like, I'm gonna use your phrase here, bro. Like, I'm a Wookiee.
You owe me a quarter.
Man, I don't care if I pay you $1. It's fine. The thing is, right? If you actually care about certain characters and you then look at a certain species of that character and what goes on, and then you look at how this plays out, it's actually playing into Star Wars lore, and it's only barely a few minutes where he kicks the shit out of certain characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just cool, even if it's a side thing. Boba Fett is basically not only is there a chance to flesh out some more Star Wars-y stuff, but it's also giving us the chance to see, oh, look at that piece of insight, which as a Star Wars fan, I loved to watch.
That's why I'm getting excited and thinking that maybe, just maybe, I'll see Cad Bane pop up. Because remember in Mandalorian season 1, I think it was the 5th episode, when Fennec gets shot in the gut, and you just see the feet walk up to her in the desert, and it never explained who it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
That bit basically
in the first
where,
season. And now it was...
everybody was speculating who this was. Did anybody... Oh, by the way, I want to go back and see who of us... I think somebody of us actually predicted that might have been Boba Fett.
I think, yeah. Well, they had the spur sound effect with his stepping, too. Because he still had the same boots.
So we gotta. There has to be some sort of reward or prize.
Yeah, I was, and it's not me because I was saying Cad Bane and I was screaming Cad Bane. I was like, please, God!
I just thought it was some slaver or something. Like I thought Fennec Shen would come back. Just not. I had no idea who the hell that character was going to be.
Right.
But yeah.
And then even seeing that in one of the episodes of Boba Fett, that flashback. That exact scene, that was kind of nice.
In episode 4, and we saw Fennec basically. Oh, another little tidbit, in the Star Wars world, when you get basically turned in, when you have this operation where you get turned into a sort of half person, half droid, or like you get mech'd.
Modded. You get modded.
Yeah, you get modded. Yeah, you get these add-ons. I do that even without getting shot. Like I totally get like whatever. I like remove my lungs and have like respiratory system so I can survive space. I do this thing where I'd like maybe have like a built-in jetpack in the back, or like
you would end up being Count Vidian,
left arm or something. Because I'm a lefty anyway. So like my right arm is my strong arm, but I write with my left hand. So I'd be like, I'm like an Inspector Gadget left arm. Sort of thing. But yeah.
No, as weird as as weird as the cyberpunk part of it is, I get where they're going with it. And there's obviously there's got to be gangs out there in Star Wars that are like that. But every time you see a new gang, like when he took Fennec in episode 4 to the one in Mos Eisley, to that version of the gang in Mos Eisley, and you see the girl turn and her pupils are like glowing red, and you're just like, holy shit, that looks cool. Right. And then when they're working on her and the music they picked, I was like, yeah, this is totally some cyberpunk. This is like a Mass Effect club
if you're
music.
Watching this and you don't understand why this belongs in this episode, you've got
it makes sense.
Like, you totally understand. You have to see why this belongs here. Right. Perhaps you don't like it. Perhaps you don't see it the same way. And the British accents are totally like, they're like the modern.
They're called Coruscant accents.
Yeah, like sort of like on this, mate. Yeah, it's kind of out of place. I know, but I do see why it's there.
They say the British accent in Star Wars is a Coruscant accent. Is what they call it. Okay. At least that's what they used to call it in some of the old novels. I think in the EU novels, I'm not entirely sure if they still.
I didn't know that at all.
They called it Coruscanti, because I don't remember which book it was I read. They were talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he had a Coruscanti accent, and he kind of had that, that.
Obi-Wan is British?
I guess I didn't know that, but anyway, no, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, no, Book of Boba Fett. I'm excited to see where it's going to end. I think it's going to be a great addition.
Completely same.
To Star Wars canon, and and like I said, it answers questions that a lot of us had, how he got out of the Sarlacc, whether or not he even survived. Because I remember when Battlefront came out, there was one little thing that came out where everybody's like, "Oh my God, does that mean he's alive?" And when you fly Boba over the Sarlacc pit, he's like, "No, not this time," and he goes flying a little bit higher, and they're like, "Wait, what does that mean?" Like everybody was clinging on to every little thing they could to find out whether or not he survived, and then to have this kind of tie in with the Aftermath novels too, with the interludes with Cobb Vanth. From season 2 of Mandalorian, he's in some of the interludes of Aftermath. That's where his character came from. So it was really cool to kind of see it all crossing over like that.
I'm going through Aftermath now. It's so cool.
Oh yeah, no, I adore the Aftermath trilogy. Cool. So when you get to those interludes,
this is my first time going through it.
When you get to those interludes, there's interludes in each of those books. I think there's one chapter in each one that goes back to Cobb Vanth and how he got the armor, how he was using it, and stuff like that. So. It was a really cool tie-in, but I'm loving Book of Boba Fett. I'm really excited. Obviously, it's not the one I was looking to forward to the most. We're going to talk here in a little bit about the one I'm looking forward to the most, but that so far I'm digging it, and I can't wait to see where it goes. So thanks for the question, Andrew. Do appreciate it. And the last question,
sent us down a real rabbit hole.
No kidding. And the last question this week comes from Cody Wallace, and Cody says, I was trying to tell a buddy how much Star Wars content is coming out this year, and I don't think I got nearly all of it. Would you be willing to give a rundown of all the novels and shows coming out this year that have been announced so far, possibly the release dates? And which thing are you looking forward to the most, novel and TV show? Love your content. Thanks, Cody, for the question. Yeah, I put together a quick list just of what they've announced so far, and the release dates, and what we've got announced so far only goes up till June. So there's going to be more coming out later on. We've only got the first half of the year taken up for novels so far. So I went ahead and added The Fallen Star. It's the first one. It came out January 4th this year. High Republic Fallen Star. I'm in the middle of that one right now. I've actually sat down and read the first half of it in a day. I can't stop. I love that book so far.
Wow!
I'm adoring this book. Oh yes. I already did the ranking video for 2021, and there's a real good shot Lost Stars could get dethroned. There's a serious possibility that it could get dethroned after 6 years. So, the High Republic, The Fallen Star, came out on January 4th. The High Republic Midnight Horizon, which is set for release on February 1st, is a young adult novel. It's going to kind of complement the Fallen Star. March 1st has got Mission to Disaster. It's a young reader. It's a High Republic book also. April 5th is one I'm really looking forward to. It's the final book in the Queen's trilogy by E.K. Johnston, Queen's Hope. Then on May 10th, we've got Star Wars Brotherhood, which is an Anakin and Obi-Wan novel.
Can't wait to read that.
Yeah, that one's going to be huge. June 7th is Stories of the Jedi and Sith, which is going to be a short story anthology. And then on June 28th, we've got Shadow of the Sith so far. That's the last one they've announced, which I think there's a possibility Shadow of the Sith could be one of the biggest novels we've had in a long time. Because
Shadow of the Sith is really important because I personally, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a huge, I love the dark side in Star Wars. It's probably genuinely my personal favorite thing about Star Wars. The dark side. Yeah. Well, the Force in general, but what specifically about the Force, the dark side. And I want to see what that's about. Yeah. Because I'm really excited for
hang on, let me pull up
that's supposed to come out.
Let me pull up the synopsis for you because they did say what that book is about. Hang on. Let me read the official synopsis for you. Because this is one that I am really this is one I think this is going to be a big deal in the Star Wars canon because of what this story is. Let me go. I'll just read the actual synopsis for you. This is one. As soon as they announced it, I'm like, this is my number one anticipated book this year. It says Luke Skywalker and Lando Calrissian return in this essential novel set between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. The Empire is dead nearly 2 decades after the Battle of Endor. The tattered remnants of Palpatine's forces have fled to the furthest reaches of the galaxy. But for the heroes of the New Republic, danger and loss are ever-present companions, even in this newly forged era of peace. Jedi Master Luke Skywalker is haunted by visions of the dark side, foretelling an ominous secret growing somewhere in the depths of space on a dead world called Exegol. The disturbance in the Force is undeniable, and Luke's worst fears are confirmed when his old friend Lando Calrissian comes to him with reports of a new Sith menace. After Lando's daughter was stolen from his arms, he searched the stars for any trace of his lost child, but every new rumor leads only to dead ends and fading hopes, until he crosses paths with Ochi of Bastoon, a Sith assassin tasked with kidnapping a young girl. Ochi's true motives remain shrouded to Luke and Lando, for on a junkyard moon, a mysterious envoy of the Sith Eternal has bequeathed a sacred blade to the assassin, promising that it will answer the questions that have haunted him since the Empire fell. In exchange, he must complete a final mission, return to Exegol with the key to the Sith's glorious rebirth, Rey, the granddaughter of Darth Sidious himself. As Ochi hunts Rey and her parents to the edge of the galaxy, Luke and Lando race into the mystery of the Sith's lingering shadow and aid a young family running for their lives. I have never been this excited for a novel.
I want 1,000 pages.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I have. This is
so much. I want to address each and every one of those statements.
Yes,
made in the synopsis.
Holy crap! And it sucks that it's 6 months away. I literally 6 months from today. It's 5 months away. I have never been this excited for a Star Wars novel in my life. This is a story that I think is going to be. They said this is an essential novel. I think they're right. I think this is going to be the biggest story in the novels, bar none. I can't wait. This is a story I've been wanting. And to be able to bridge those two time periods, kind of the classic trilogy and the kind of the sequel trilogy, and to see the story. We're going to get so many answers.
Two things jump out when you just read that synopsis. The first thing was exactly what you said. So it's like bridging. It's working to bridge. in between the phases, right? That Luke goes through, and therefore that we go through. But the other thing is that obviously they're addressing certain things which may have been question marks, like the whole long lost daughter of Lando Calrissian sort of thing. A few other things in there dropping in. But honestly, I am not upset with that. Like, on the contrary, I want to see fleshed out characters. Obviously, these are characters that we love, so we want to see more of them. So that's a huge selling point. No, screw the selling point. You need to read into the narrative. The narrative here going into this story, the fact that there's remnants of the Sith and there's a Sith assassin, and you're going to Exegol. What?
Yeah, and this is Ochi.
I want to see this.
This is Ochi of Bastoon. This is who they were hunting down on Pasana and Rise of Skywalker, and they found his speeder and that blade. That's the sacred blade they're talking about.
Exactly.
And I do, and we don't have hardly any Luke Skywalker stuff in that time. We don't have any Luke Skywalker stuff in that time period. None.
No,
we have no idea what he was up to.
We came back. I mean, when way back when we did our debate over our trial of Skywalker, Luke, because this was my thing, right? That I genuinely wanted to see more of Luke in this period. I'm finally getting it. I'm finally getting more and more of it, right? I can't wait to see Luke not just being challenged, but being himself. Whether it's badass, whether it's calm, whether it's chill, whether it's whatever. I just want to see him. And this is a perfect chance to see him.
Yeah, this is going to be an insane novel. And you know what? If this book is, because it's written by Adam Christopher, I've never read anything by Adam Christopher before. I don't know what his writing style is like. But
me neither.
If this book is what I'm hoping it is, it could end up at the top of the ranking. I mean, this is a story that I'm craving. So to answer Cody's question, which one am I looking forward to the most out of the novels? Shadow of the Sith, bar none. This is the absolute one that I'm looking forward to. So those are the novels that have been announced so far up until June 28th. Obviously, we've got a whole nother half a year after that of novels that'll be coming out this year. And there's probably going to be another wave of High Republic somewhere in the last half of the year like there was last year. Probably pretty soon after that. Matter of fact, I'm going to call it now. After Shadow of the Sith, I'm betting the next novel that comes out is High Republic. So nice. That's the novels that we know of so far. Television, we've got the remainder of the Book of Boba Fett. We've got Obi-Wan Kenobi, Andor, and the Bad Batch Season 2. And I'm having dreams of getting to watch Obi-Wan Kenobi. I can't wait.
Absolutely.
I can't wait.
I think we all of us, I think the whole world predicts that Obi-Wan is most likely coming out May 4th. Isn't it?
I'm assuming. I'm almost willing to bet. You know what? There was a rumor though that it was coming out in March. Because here's the reasoning for it. So Disney Plus does this show called Gallery, right? Where after
Disney Gallery,
after
they did with the Mandalorian,
right? After season 1 finished, they showed this Gallery episode on how they made it, right?
Loved it, absolutely loved it.
And there's a rumor going around that Obi-Wan Kenobi Gallery is slated for the end of March. So there's speculation. I don't know how much weight there is to it, but there's speculation that they're going to drop it on us sometime in February and then finish it out in March and be like, surprise, here you go, which Boba Fett ends in a couple weeks. So it would almost make sense to start another one right off the bat. I don't know. I'm still on the May 4th bandwagon. I'm still thinking because if you look at the novels, Brotherhood comes out May 10th. That's an Anakin and Obi-Wan novel.
Oh wow!
And so it makes more sense.
It come out in tandem with
the series.
Obi-Wan.
Yeah, so I'm and it's an Anakin Obi-Wan story. What is Obi-Wan? It's an Anakin Obi-Wan story. So I'm willing to bet that it's going to be May 4th. I think that's the general. Which May 4th does fall on a Wednesday this year. That's the day they release their shows on Disney Plus is Wednesday. So I'm
Is Andor supposed to come out this year?
Yeah, Andor is slated for this
end
year.
Of this year.
Yes, second half, and then Bad Batch is for season 2 is for spring. So
and then Mando as well, season 3, end of this year, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah. So I'm willing to bet Bad Batch season 2 will come out, and then Obi-Wan, then Andor, and then we'll get Mando because I did hear rumors that it's going to be a Christmas thing.
Year.
That's just this year, yeah. So every 3 months we're looking at another series.
The only 2 other shows which we know have been confirmed are the Droid Story or A Droid Story,
right? Ahsoka
and
Ahsoka. there's several other series that we've got a Lando series coming,
the Acolyte, which they said is going to be coming out next year. Yeah.
Hang on a second here. Let me look.
Those are the main ones. So everything we said up
Yeah.
till now is
They did cancel Rangers of the New Republic, which I'm kind of bummed about.
And they also canceled Squadrons.
The Rogue Squadron movie, yeah.
Rogue Squadron, excuse me. Yeah.
Visions is getting a second season.
Visions is getting a second
Droid
season,
Story, I think, is going to be an animated film, which...
a film, not a series.
Yeah,
Okay.
because Anthony Daniels is doing motion capture right now for 3PO. So I'm betting that's what it's going to be. Yeah, we've got a Lando series coming, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the ones this year are Obi-Wan Andor, Bad Batch, and the rest of Boba Fett. But what they've got lined up so far is Lando, Obi-Wan, Andor, Vision Season 2, Bad Batch Season 2, Droid Story, the Acolyte, which is set in the waning days of the High Republic, which lines up perfectly with Palpatine being a youngling, and then the Ahsoka series. So there's a lot coming down the pipeline to be excited about. I don't know how excited I am about a Lando series. We'll see. I don't know which Lando they're going with. I don't know if it's going to be young Lando with Donald Glover. Jeez. Donald Glover. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah, and then
we got it. Yeah.
Danny Glover's going to play Lando. Yeah, I tell you what. But then or I don't know if it's going to be Billy D or if it's going to be a combination of the two. You know, like Billy D sitting down and telling stories of when he was younger and you see it flashback or whatever. I don't know. So but out of all those, I'm looking forward to Obi-Wan the most. The depth that story is going to bring this year, and to see Hayden Christensen come back as Anakin, to hopefully get some flashbacks to Clone Wars, to see him in live action. I'm going to lose my mind. I think Obi-Wan has potential to be one of the coolest and most anticipated pieces of Star Wars canon ever.
Obi-Wan has a huge potential to be so much closure as well.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I don't want to reduce it to just being that, because it can be so much more. It can take the story further than we thought it ought to.
Add depth to
it. So important. And I honestly, I would hate to be the people working on Obi-Wan.
Oh my God.
Because the pressure on
Yes.
them must, oh my goodness me, the pressure must be crap, guys.
Oh my God.
You've got so much on your shoulders right now. This is a pinnacle cornerstone of Star Wars right here.
Yeah, and if you mess this up, that's the end of your career.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to all this. And you know, that like Kathleen Kennedy said, this is going to be the rematch of the century, because there's lines from Return of the Jedi that Vader said that can go back and kind of supplement this when he's talking to Luke and Luke's trying to turn him back to the light side, and he says, Obi-Wan once thought as you did. Well, we never saw Obi-Wan trying to turn Vader back.
Yeah, we never saw exactly.
In
we just saw that
4.
final battle. And that was
right. He did try to convince him to come back at the end of 3, but he didn't tell Anakin, there's still good in you. He was just saying, you're making the wrong decision. What are you doing? This isn't you. That's what he was saying. He never came out and said, there's still good in you. I sense the conflict, you know, and he never said any of that. And now we have the opportunity to get that. I want it. I need it. If you could put Obi-Wan Kenobi in a syringe, I would inject it. I cannot wait for
that is the best
series
analogy I have ever heard.
I can't, and then I would need just daily doses of it to keep my fix going. So I hope that answers your question, Cody. And like I said, that's just what we know of so far. So I think that was the last one. Yeah, that does it for this episode. It went quick. What did we do? Like an hour and a half? That's a good time. Do anything? Be all right.
I mean, I wish we could do it in less than that, but genuinely, there's so much to talk about.
There's a lot to talk about, yeah. And the next few episodes are probably going to be about this long, trying to get caught up. But eventually, I think we're going to get back down to the hour mark. But we'll see.
Oh yeah, we've got a lot of comment. We've got a lot of content coming your way soon. You know, we're going to do some little bit, snippets about some of our favorite lore. You know, going to do just a little bit of stuff about lightsabers, going to be stuff about whatever it is, any topics that you want to hear, please send them in.
Yeah,
please
absolutely.
Send them in. Brian and I would love to hear them.
Absolutely. So I think that's going to do it for this episode. You got anything else to add, Usef?
Genuinely nothing too important at this time. We've got a lot of time to talk about the rest in the future, and I'm really excited. You have to watch the latest episode of Book of Boba Fett.
I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it as soon as we're done with this recording, and then next week I'll make sure I watch episode 6 before we record. That way, That way I get it under the belt and we can actually talk about it. So
I genuinely think that you would prefer to do the reaction video and a little bit of, a session where you're just talking to yourself about this episode, because it's pretty cool.
Well, I might do that. So, hey, speaking of reaction videos, if you head over to our Patreon account, I've got some full reactions up already. Chapters 1 and 2 of Book of Boba Fett. You guys can check those out and kind of watch along with me as we go through the series. And you can also send us mailbag questions. We went through 3 of them tonight. We can go through and pick out some more next week if you guys have any questions.
How do you get a mailbag question onto the podcast?
Oh, hey, look, you did it for me. It's been a minute, man. I'm out of practice. You know that. It's been 10 months since I've really gotten into this, so I'm a little out of practice. Let me back up. Let me reverse. How do you guys get a question on the Star Wars Canon Podcast? You send it to starwarscanonpodcast@gmail.com. Each week we go through and pick out a few and try to pick out the best ones. Matter of fact, Usef, next week I think I'm going to pick out like 10 and then send them all to you and let you pick out the ones we're going to answer.
Amazing.
I think we're going to do that. So
we will have episodes in the future where we do go back. If you don't get your question featured, we may just go back and feature your question in another episode.
We could.
Please do not get disheartened if you don't get your question featured. Please keep sending them in. We love them. They're food for thought, and we will use them in later episodes. 100%.
There are several questions that we get that I wish we had time to go through, all of them, but it's just because of time constraints. It's hard to go through and pick them all. But we are, another thing I want to start doing again, since we're kind of coming back as 1138 Productions, I do want to start doing the live Q&As again on Sunday nights. If I can try to swing it.
We got to go live soon.
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot of fun because then we can talk about whatever. And then, also we've got 1138 Talk Radio in the pipeline that we're working on putting together where we can talk about literally anything, not just Star Wars, not just Marvel, but DC, Doctor Who, Walking Dead, I don't know, Ghostbusters. I mean, literally anything at all. Because we're not all just Star Wars fans. We're not all just Marvel fans. We're just geeks in general. And I think that'd be a good outlet for us to talk about.
I love being a nerd.
Lot of stuff. Oh God, it is a good time to be a nerd. And I really want to get some Ghostbusters stuff off my chest. I'm not gonna lie, because to this day I'm still freaking out over Afterlife. Yeah, Ghostbusters Afterlife. So. I think that's going to do it for this episode. Usef, I want to thank you for joining me this week. And
I want to thank you, Brian, for reaching out.
Hey,
and
especially
sure that I'm a part of it.
Especially since it's so late where you are right now. It's you really stayed up late to.
It is 4 a.m. over here.
That's
in
dedication.
The old empire.
That's dedication.
The oldest nation on Earth. It is 4 a.m, my friend. But I'm in the future. So
yeah, what's it like? We got flying cars yet? We got flying cars yet? So,
unfortunately, well, if we do, it's carpets over here. It's not really cars yet. But over here, it's not really exciting. So,
fair enough.
Hopefully, I'll be able to show you anything new that happens.
God, that'd be awesome. All right, well, thanks for joining me, man. I do appreciate it. I'm really glad to get you back on the mic, guys. I'm glad to be back. And until next time, this is Brian and Usef signing off. And may the Force be with you guys.
May the Force be with you.